Hello my students, today we are going to deal with an unseen poem. In your final exam, second semester, there is one section in literature which will be a new poem or an extract from a long poem and answer one question which carries 10 marks. Means you need to answer the question at least 160 words. Here is a very famous poem, Ozymandias by P.B. Shelley. Let's analyze this poem and answer one question. Ozymandias, P.B. Shelley. Read the poem Ozymandias by P.B. Shelley and answer the question that follow. What is the theme of the poem and how does the writer present it? Comment on the use of imagery and language. Write at least 160 words. This is the format of the question that you usually get in your final exam. So when you get a question like this one, you need to read the poem, analyze it, find evidence to talk about the theme of the poem. Here first you have to find the theme, then answer the question. Here the most important thing is, if you don't address the question, your marks will be 0 or just 2 out of 10. Means you need to find evidence related to the theme. For example, if the theme is beauty, you need to find evidence related to beauty. If the theme is art, you need to find evidence related to art. Let's go through the poem again. Now read the poem. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculpture well those passions read, which yet survive stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear, my name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty and despair. Nothing beside remains round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level sands stretch far away." Now, this is a sonnet. Do you remember a sonnet? A sonnet means 14-line poems. 14-line poems are called sonnets. You already studied two types of sonnets. One, Petrarchan or Italian sonnet, and the other one is Shakespearean sonnet. You have already studied Sonnet 18, which is Shakespearean sonnet. This is a Petrarchan sonnet. So Petrarchan sonnet is divided into octave and sestet. What is octave? The first 8 lines are called octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So first 8 lines are called octave. Usually octave presents a problem or a description or a situation, and the sestet, the last 6 lines, are called sestet, which presents the solution or a comment on that one. Let's go through it. It is octave and sestet, each with their own themes, and line 9 contains a turn in the poem. It is, as we discussed, a Petrarchan sonnet. Who was Ozymandias? Do you know who was Ozymandias? Ramses II was an Egyptian pharaoh, was known as Ozymandias. He lived from 1279 to 1213 BC and was some 96 years old when he died. Here, the statue of Ozymandias was originally 57 feet high. An inscription on it told onlookers, "I am Ozymandias, King of Kings," and challenged them to perform greater works than he did. Let's go through the octave. Octave means the first 8 lines of the poem. See, here the octave describes that what the traveler saw, the ruins of the ancient statue of Ozymandias. Characteristics of the statue, the frown, the outstretched hand, etc. This in turn tells us what the pharaoh was like. Here we can find the theme, the destruction that time visits on anything and everything on this earth. So the main idea or the theme here is whatever in this world, beautiful, powerful, whatever it is, all of them will lose its beauty one day, as Shakespeare presented in Sonnet 18, that the beauty will never last forever. Almost a similar idea is given in this poem by P.B. Shelley. So here, although Ozymandias was one of the most powerful kings, but he has lost his glory and he has lost everything. So his power is no more, but still there are many things which we can notice, like shattered visage is broken, that is there, his frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command. So the expressions on his face were read very efficiently by the sculptor. He read those passions well, which yet survive stamped on these lifeless things. So those passions were read by the artist, means the sculptor. This is clear on the face of the statue, which shows that although his power has gone, still the power of art remains there. Now, the persona or the speaker says, "I met a traveler from an antique land." Antique land here refers to ancient land of Egypt, set to vast and trunkless legs of stone. Here the whole story is based upon what the traveler apparently told the poet. The legs were very, very big, but they were detached from the trunk or the body of the statue. Here the stone refers to the statue setting where the statue can be found. Stand in the desert. It was in the desert. Near them on the sand, half sunk. Here the stone face from the statue of Ramses was lying in the desert sand. As the wind of ages blew, the sand covered the statue further and further, making it seem as if it was sinking into the sand. This is symbolic that although Ramses II was a very powerful king, now his face is just laying on the sand. Here, broken pieces, that is a shattered visage, means the face of Pharaoh. We can find several devices like alliteration harsh sea sound which reinforces that Pharaoh was unfeeling. At call to command, sea sound is repeated. Here, very accurate in capturing the Pharaoh's character in the statue. Tell that its sculpture well those passions read. Now, you can also find stone statues. The facial features have been stamped or sculptured into the stone. Now the sestet, the last 6 lines, refers to the last 6 lines of the poem. Here, the sestet makes the point that nothing is left of all the former glory other than disjointed parts now in the middle of a desert. The poet uses irony to express uselessness of abused power, pride and arrogance of Ramses II, who was once the greatest king. Now here the theme is the foolishness of man. Ozymandias believed in his own greatness to the extent that he felt he would defy time by building such a massive statue. But even the statue has been destroyed by time or sand, and his face is just laying on the sand. And on the pedestal these words appear. Pedestal, the base of statue, support upon which the statue rests. My name is Ozymandias, king of kings. Pharaoh and his arrogance believed that he was the greatest of rulers, the king of kings. But Pharaoh's enemies, as soon as they saw these statues and monuments, they would know that such great works would indicate truly powerful leader. However, that power has gone. Now it is just a piece of rock which is lying on the sand. Nothing beside them remains round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level sand stretch far away. Here, the most interesting thing is even the greatest rulers and tyrants are subject to time's effects of decay. Time does not pick and choose who it affects or who it doesn't. So the theme is time, or the power of art can be considered as the important theme. The poet attempts to convey the message that no matter great we think we are, we all ultimately succumb, given to the power of time. Ozymandias believed he would be invincible and would live on forever in his statues, etc. However, this is not to be. This is the overall idea of the poem. This is the statue of Ozymandias. This is the homework for you. Read the poem again and answer this question. What is the theme of the poem and how does the writer present it? You should talk about the imagery and language. Write at least 160 words. Thank you all. Hope you enjoyed.